My experience as a child, when I was brought to the detention center, I was 8 years old. At that time, we were being bused out of the city to outlying schools doing DSEG, and we're going through some horrendous stuff. And so we were playing hooky, so to speak, out in Fairgrounds Park in that area. And a truant officer picked us up and didn't understand why we were being brought here. They separated my sister, my cousins from us, and took our shoes and belts and all of that and left us in these dark cells.
10 years ago, we would have been able to detain kids just because kids would commit a lower offense, and we say lower offense misdemeanors, but if they came in and was not cooperative with the officer, not cooperative with the detention officer, we had the ability to detain those kids just based off our own discretion. Those days are gone.
The youth that we work with are just, they're normal kids. They're kids that unfortunately have circumstances that are out of their control, that need guidance like all of us, that needs a mentor like all of us. And without the support and without someone encouraging them and without that leader, then where and who would they follow?
They need help. They need assistance. I'm not talking about sympathy. I'm talking about empathy. I'm talking about genuine concern and genuine help. I'm not talking about handouts. I'm talking about teaching and mentoring, and more than anything, setting an example for who we say we are as a society and who we say we are as Americans.
Yeah, I mean, I learned it a long time ago when I started my career in the detention center in 1986, and that was the biggest change in my life because I had never worked with kids, never had a plan to work with kids. But when I went into that detention center and they said, well, you're going to do direct care work with these young people, I didn't know what that meant, didn't know what it was. But then I got to just sitting down at a table working with kids, and it just clicked for me that this is where I need to be.
We provide chaplains for children that are in the juvenile justice system. We have evolved as the juvenile justice system has evolved. We've gone from calling on the kids in detention, which is probably the bulk of our work, but we also do some work with the kids that go to the Division of Youth Services, which is a state facility.
As a chaplain, we are received very well by many of the juveniles here in the city and in the county. It's amazing. Many of them don't have people who actually genuinely listen to them and don't judge them.
When the chaplains, when they're either speaking to them in person, even virtually, they're encouraging them. The youth are allowed at that point to express themselves. They are allowed to share why they're upset. This is what I wanted to do. This is where I wanted to go. And the chaplains can come in and provide that encouragement to the youth.
In the juvenile world, you just don't work with the child, you work with the family structure. And the family is different. It could be grandparents, it could be the football coach, it could be a faith-based leader. All those things go into play when we consider what can we do to make that young person's life better when they hit our door. But part of this is, again, before they hit our door, how can we connect with those resources way before so that we can channel those families to those resources before a critical incident has to happen to the juvenile office has to get involved.
We also, in the last 2 years, have been working with the St. Louis County Family Court, and one of the things we first talked to them about was doing some grief and loss groups, because these kids have been through a lot of trauma, they've lost a lot of people, and so they need that kind of programming.
Episcopal City Mission is an organization that actually provides services to at-risk youth in the St. Louis City area at large. Of course, they provide our birthday celebrations. So they have each month a birthday for all of the youth that are detained in our care, and those youth actually look forward to that. Prior to COVID taking place, there will be different churches coming in, so ECM partners with different churches in the St. Louis area at large. And so every Friday, so the first Friday of every month, those churches will come in and they will celebrate those youth that have a birthday in that month. cake, ice cream, pizza, candy. They play bingo, and the youth really look forward to that.
The ECM partners really set the standard for our young people to have that relationship, to have that connection. I tell you, a lot of these kids leave here and they seek out the ECM partners. They leave here because that has been such a positive impression on these young people, and it's got to be authentic, and that's what our ECM partners are.
But as a donor, what you provide is hope. You provide healing. You provide trust. You provide a future for many of these young people, because sometimes they have not had some of the simple things that you might provide as a donor: clothing, access to people who are programming and offer different types of services, mentors who come on board, sometimes even just a word of encouragement or a word of even correction, because there are things that they have to relearn and unlearn. So you provide a whole nother life for many of these young people.